Hey, what's up, guys? This is my top waiver wire ads for Week 11. So this is post Week 10. This is after the Sunday game. So I'm recording this on Monday, the 22nd. So these are my top 5 waiver wire ads. First, we got Darnell Mooney, the Bears receiver. He's only rosterized in about half leagues. He's top 30 wide receiver. This isn't a very hidden one. I mean, the past 3 weeks, he's averaged, like 22 points, something like that. I don't know how to do math. But a touchdown in 3 games this season from 2 different quarterbacks. And this past week against Baltimore, tough secondary, even with the injuries. 16 targets, that's really high just for anyone. And you can see he does get some rush attempts. He's on the faster side of most wide receivers, but he looks to be a lot more involved. I mean, 16 targets, only catching 5 of them. I mean, not really his fault. He has Andy Dalton throwing to him, kind of a liability. But he had a deep touchdown. They're throwing him some screens. He's getting a lot more involved. I mean, like I said, once again, 16 targets. That's insane. And he seems to be the only productive Bears receiver. So I definitely pick this guy up if you're in need of a wide receiver, which I know a lot of teams are, including myself. So this is one that I'm actually probably going to be adding this week. Next up, we got another wide receiver. This one is, where is he? Elijah Moore. A lot of Moores. So top 36 wide receiver. This past week, he got 8 of his 11 targets for 141 yards and 1 touchdown. 34 points, though. That's, as you can see, he also does get few rush attempts, but 11 targets is pretty high. He seems to be trusted by all 3 of his quarterbacks. If you look at his targets, I mean, he has a lot of upside. He's a deep threat. That's what deep threats in fantasy are pretty. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking for in most wide receivers in fantasy. Even though they're not the most consistent, those are the ones that get you the big 30-point games, like, the prime Deshaun Jacksons, the ones like those, the Tyreek Hills. But Elijah Moore, he's had 4 touchdowns in his past 3 games. He catches a good amount of his targets. He gets a lot of targets, so if you need a wide receiver, this is one I'd add if Mooney isn't available. Only rosterized in 40% of leagues. It is up a little bit, and I assume it'll probably go up another 10%. So I try to snag him when he can. So next up, we got some running backs. We're gonna go on to Devontae Freeman. He's rosterized in my league. Only rosterized in 33.8% of leagues, which is kind of crazy, but he is the lead back in Baltimore probably for the rest of the season. 16 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown this past week. 27 points, also pretty good. And you can see he's a pretty reliable pass catcher as well. So if you need a running back, probably pick him up. Kind of splitting time with Latavius Murray. Let's look at Latavius Murray this past week. He was projected for the most points of the Ravens running backs, but he got 6 less carries than Freeman. So if you're going to take any of the Ravens running backs, definitely going to be Freeman. I won't be adding him actually because he's rosterized in my league already. But if he's not in yours, then that's a good pickup for you this week. Another one is probably going to be a surprise. It's going to be Alexander Mattison. You can see only rosterized in 35.7% of leagues. And you see, how does this make sense, right? I mean, he scores 3, 6, 1.5 points. How could he be a waiver wire ad? Well, the 2 weeks that Dalvin Cook didn't play, he had 25 and 26 carries and scored 36.5 and 40 points. So especially for PPR, this is definitely going to be a good ad and just a grab and stash, a great one, in fact, because Dalvin Cook, he is not very injury prone, but I mean, every running back in the NFL is injury prone. Also, with his situation, with his domestic violence case, not sure what's going to happen there. But if he doesn't play, which is pretty likely, then Alexander Mattison will be the lead back and probably begin 20-plus carries each game. So I don't see why you wouldn't add him. I mean, he's rosterized in 35.7% of leagues. I definitely add him. Last but not least, Dalton Schultz. He's on the waiver wire for my league. I'm not sure how. I'm going to be adding him this week because I have Kelsey and he is bye next week. No one cares, I know. But only rosterized not even 80% of leagues. He's a top 10 tight end. So if you can pick this guy up, which he may be available in some of your guys' leagues, I'd definitely pick him up. But an actual tight end that's below 50% rosterized will be Zach Ertz. He's below 60, but he had 28 points this week, catching 8 of his 9 targets for 2 touchdowns, 28 fancy points. Obviously, he's getting a lot more involved